I love you, baby, but I want you to know that I'm not secret. All I do is think of you.
They had the hits, they had the vocals, they stayed together for over 30 years. And yet, Troop is still one of music's most successful groups nobody talks about. This isn't a what went wrong story. It's a how did they do everything right and still disappear kind of mystery. Troop's origin story reads like a fairy tale that nobody bothers to tell anymore. 5 guys from Pasadena won a televised talent contest called Puttin' on the Hits by lip-syncing to New Edition's Cool It Now, a moment that should be R&B folklore, but somehow got lost in the shuffle of music history. That TV appearance launched them into the stratosphere. But here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. Their breakthrough moment was captured forever in one of hip-hop's most iconic movie scenes, and yet they still managed to fade into obscurity. What makes this even more fascinating is that the New Jack City opening scene became one of cinema's most memorable musical moments, with Troop and Levert performing an a cappella medley that perfectly captured the essence of urban sophistication.
Just for the city.
This is the kind of exposure that typically catapults groups into superstardom, yet somehow Troop's participation became a footnote in the movie's legacy, rather than a launching pad for their own cultural dominance. Their debut single, Mamacita, proved they weren't just TV contest winners. They were the real deal with serious vocal chops and natural chemistry that couldn't be manufactured. But it was Spread My Wings that truly announced Troop's arrival, soaring straight to #1 on the R&B charts and establishing them as serious contenders in a genre dominated by established legends like New Edition, Boyz II Men, and Jodeci. The song had everything: pristine harmonies, smooth choreography, and that effortless cool that defined late 80s R&B perfection. But here's where the story gets absolutely wild. Troop didn't just have one #1 hit, they had multiple chart toppers that should have cemented their legacy forever. Their cover of the Jackson 5's All I Do Is Think of You became another #1 smash, proving they could reinterpret classics while making them completely their own. Entertainment industry veterans describe this as the kind of success that usually leads to legendary status, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions, and decades of nostalgia tours. Yet somehow, Troop slipped through the cracks of collective memory like they never existed at all. Then came Sweet November, a romantic ballad so smooth it practically defined the term baby-making music for an entire generation. The track showcased Troop's ability to shift from upbeat anthems to intimate slow jams with the kind of versatility that separates great groups from legendary ones. Chart success? Check. Critical acclaim? Check. Songs that became soundtrack staples for countless romantic moments? Absolutely. Cultural impact that lasted decades? Somehow, mysteriously absent from the conversation, as if the group existed in some parallel universe where success doesn't guarantee remembrance. Industry analysts point to this phenomenon as one of music's greatest unsolved mysteries. How does a group achieve everything that's supposed to matter? Chart success, critical acclaim, cultural relevance, and still somehow become invisible to mainstream music discourse? Sources close to major record labels describe Troop's disappearance from the cultural conversation as unprecedented, especially considering their consistent quality and commercial performance during R&B's golden era. Now, here's what makes Troop's story absolutely extraordinary in an industry built on ego clashes and creative differences. These 5 men have stayed together for over 30 years, creating music and touring while maintaining the kinds of brotherhood that makes industry insiders shake their heads in disbelief. Sources close to the group describe a level of mutual respect and genuine friendship that's practically unheard of in the cutthroat world of R&B, leading some to wonder if they discovered some secret formula for group longevity that others couldn't crack.
The work, the fun, the brotherhood.
We sold a lot of records, bro.
Yeah, nothing can overshadow that.
No.
Yeah, like R&B money comes from that.
Fast forward to 2024, and Troop is still actively touring as part of the New Edition Legacy Tour, sharing stages with the very artists who inspired them decades ago. While other 90s R&B groups have either disbanded, reunited for nostalgia tours filled with behind-the-scenes drama, or are dealing with public feuds between former members that play out on social media, Troop continues to perform with the same chemistry and professionalism that made them stars in the first place. Entertainment industry veterans describe this level of consistency as almost supernatural in a genre where longevity usually comes with tabloid drama and tell-all documentaries about internal conflicts. What's even more fascinating is how they've managed to keep their personal lives completely separate from public scrutiny while remaining active in the entertainment industry. Individual members give interviews and share insights about their musical journey, but they've maintained an almost military-level discipline when it comes to protecting their families and private relationships from the spotlight that destroyed so many of their contemporaries. This level of privacy management in the social media age borders on the impossible, leading some entertainment watchers to wonder if Troop operates according to some unwritten code that other groups never learned. Entertainment industry veterans point out that most R&B groups from Troop's era have either imploded spectacularly, reunited with visible tension, or faded away entirely. The fact that these five men continue to work together harmoniously while maintaining their original creative vision suggests a level of emotional intelligence and conflict resolution that would make corporate team-building experts jealous. Yet somehow this remarkable achievement and group dynamics never became part of their public narrative. But here's what makes entertainment industry conspiracy theorists work overtime. In a genre where scandals, feuds, legal troubles, and personal drama are practically prerequisites for staying in the headlines, Troop has maintained a completely clean public record for over 3 decades. We're talking about R&B, a genre where even the most beloved artists have faced public controversies, substance abuse issues, financial problems, or relationship dramas that became tabloid fodder. Yet somehow, these 5 men navigated every potential landmine with the precision of trained diplomats. Think about that for a moment and let the implications absolutely blow your mind. This level of professionalism and scandal avoidance in an industry built on chaos and controversy isn't just rare, it's almost impossible. Either Troop possesses the most advanced crisis management skills in entertainment history, or they're genuinely living according to principles that would make motivational speakers jealous. Total respect of other people, just like their name suggests. The absence of any major public missteps, legal troubles, or personal dramas that typically plague long-running musical acts raises questions about whether their clean record is the result of exceptional character or exceptional media management. Entertainment industry insiders described Troop's scandal-free trajectory as one of the most remarkable achievements in modern music, yet this accomplishment somehow never translated into the kind of respect and recognition typically reserved for artists who maintain both commercial success and personal integrity over multiple decades. In 2024, Troop finally got the documentary treatment with 5 of a Kind streaming on All Black, giving fans and music historians a chance to dive deep into their remarkable story. Yet even with a full-length documentary celebrating their achievements, they somehow remain absent from most greatest R&B groups of all time conversations. A level of oversight that makes entertainment industry watchers question how collective memory actually works in the music business. Music critics and industry analysts describe this phenomenon as unprecedented. A group with documented success, longevity, and artistic merit somehow existing in a blind spot of popular culture. Meanwhile, in their hometown of Pasadena, city officials are considering renaming a street in Troop's honor, recognition that proves their local impact while highlighting the bizarre disconnect between their regional legend status and their national invisibility. Here's a group so respected in their community that politicians want to immortalize them in street signs. Yet music fans can name dozens of R&B groups with fewer hits and shorter careers. The irony couldn't be more stark. While their hometown fights to properly honor their achievements, the broader music industry continues to overlook their contributions in ways that seem almost deliberate.
We opened the door for those guys. So if we hadn't have sat, you guys wouldn't have heard of a Boyz II Men.
What makes their story even more compelling is the generational impact they've had on both fans and fellow artists. Countless contemporary R&B performers cite Troop as influences, yet these acknowledgments rarely translate into mainstream discussions about the group's significance.